Hi everyone, today let's talk about the repeated game in chapter 7. Here is the outline of the video and I am going to explain what is the repeated games within 4 parts. And first we just dive into the first part, the Nash equilibrium. And in this part I will briefly introduce the Nash equilibrium and explain how it works. I split the Nash equilibrium into 3 segments, including definition, systematical reason, and graphical explain. So, what is Nash equilibrium? The Nash equilibrium is the most common way to define the solution of a non-cooperative game involving 2 or more players, which at Nash equilibrium, none of the players have incentive to change their decisions. And why we need Nash equilibrium? Well, considered as the decision maker of a company, you have to react when your competitor make decisions that might negatively influence your company. So let's take a look at a graphic example of the Nash equilibrium. And in this graph, we can see there's 4 elements, like the first players, the rules, the strategies, and the payoffs. And when we see it in detail, if the Bruce choose to work, then Alice will choose to work, since 0 is greater than -4. And if Bruce choose to sleep, Alice will choose to work as well, since 3 is greater than 2. Similarly, if Alice choose to work, Bruce will choose to work. And if Alice choose to sleep, then Bruce will choose to work as well. Therefore, for both of them, work is the dominant strategy and sleep is dominated strategy, where the top left corner is our Nash equilibrium. And what is the relation between Nash equilibrium and the repeated games? Well, Nash equilibrium is considered as a one-shot game, which means there's only 1 round for players to decide. However, repeated game is the ongoing games with multiple rounds. So why repeated games make results different, and why repeated game valuable? Well, different with the one-shot game, repeated games allows for study of the interaction of firms in the long term. And the repetition helps enforcing otherwise enforceable agreement. To specify, there are 2 kinds of repeated games, finite repeated games and infinitely repeated games. The infinitely repeated games is just like the graph on the left, it is endless, and finitely repeated games have a certain number of repetitions. And here, thank you for the participation of Alice and Bruce again. When a total number of plays is 1, it's similar as the one-shot game. Work is the dominant strategy, and work is the only Nash equilibrium in this game. So how about the total number of plays changed to 2? Is the strategy going to be changed? And how Alice and Bruce choose in this situation? So here's the answer. When t is equals to 2, both Alice and Bruce have incentive to choose sleep in the first round, since both of them will benefit from it, which mathematically, if one of them chooses to work, will earn an extra 3 minus 2, and that is 1 in the first round, but the opportunity cost of this decision is 2 in the next round. But if they're both rational players, they will both pick work in the second round. The reason why is that the second round is the last round for this game. So, which means that both Alice and Bruce will maximize their own profit in the last round. So, is that going to be the same if it is the infinite repeated games? The answer is no, and it's not really, because in the infinitely repeated games, or we said the numbers of repetition is uncertain, competitors may lead to a cooperative equilibrium. And finally is our fourth part. I would like to give you an example that's still happening nowadays. Since Russia-Ukraine war happened, the price of natural gas has steeply increased in the EU, where, as we know, natural gas is more efficient and less polluting fossil fuels compared to the coal. The need of the natural gas is continuously increased in past 70 years. However, because of the sanctions by the European Union, they converted their repeated games merely into one-shot game, which caused that they only consider how much profit they can get from this last game. And this conversion also makes their policies polarized. And that's all for my video, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.